Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today I want to talk about how I keep productive. So in some of my other videos I've been talking about how I keep organized and the benefits of being organized, but being organized still sometimes doesn't translate ideas into action. So these are the types of things that I do to be able to do all the things that I do. If you know me, I'm studying a full-time master's at the moment. I'm in the middle of my thesis. I'm at business school. I'm also trying to open 2 companies on the side. I am really trying to get on top of my health and my fitness at the moment. I obviously also want to spend time with friends and families. And really annoyingly, I suffer from a bunch of horrible, well, not horrible, but really annoying, I guess they are horrible, autoimmune conditions that are just not that fun sometimes. And I'm also pretty dyslexic too. So getting things done and productivity, I've been really trying to work on over the past couple of years and putting little tips and strategies in place to make that easier for myself, considering the barriers sometimes that I face. So if you also have things going on in your life, then hopefully some of these tips might be able to help you guys. And even if you don't have things going on in your life and you just want to be a little bit more productive, then fingers crossed these tips will be helpful too. Okay, so the first thing I do to be more productive is that I keep organized. And again, the last 2 videos rambled on about this. I cannot overemphasize this enough. If you want to get things done, you've really got to look at the planning that leads up to actually doing them. It's going to make you be able to do so much more than you ever thought possible, and you're going to be able to do it in such a more enjoyable, unstressful way. So if you're interested in how to be more organized, or the things that I do, then you can check out my video below. And I also did another video on the benefits of being organized. So if you're interested in why you should be organized and you need some encouragement there, then you can go and check out that video too. Okay, so the next thing I do to be productive, and this is a really, really big one, is that I don't wait for motivation. And I think a lot of people do this. They sit around and they wait to feel motivated to do this activity that they've thought of. Sometimes in that initial stage when you get an idea, you get quite excited and you've got that initial motivation, but once you leave it, it's very, very quick to disappear. And I think the difference between people who actually get things done are those that realize you cannot rely upon the motivation. If you want to do it, you need to sometimes just get yourself out of bed and just do it. So I really like Mel Robbins. She's got that 3-2-1 thing where you just kind of like, okay, tell your brain, that's it, I'm doing it, I'm getting out of bed, or I'm gonna make that video. I'll link her thing below as well. She's got a great TED talk on it. But don't rely upon motivation. It's not there, it's not gonna come. If you want to do it, you're gonna have to be a little bit of a parent sometimes to yourself and just be like, right, that's it, bit of tough love, come on, you're doing it. The next way in which I stay really productive is I'll take activities that I need to do or need to get done, and I actually break them down into very, very defined specific activities and tasks, and I'll give it an allocated time and date on my calendar. So again, sometimes people will just have these like big dream lists or to-do lists, and that's just all it is. It's just a list. And then they wonder like, oh my God, how did you get all these things done? I really want to do these things. Well, I'll make these lists, and Notion is my place where I like to keep these lists and put all my ideas down. But those ideas are then translated into actions by putting them onto my calendar and by giving them an actual time and an actual date, and then being very, very specific about the task, not being vague. That really, really helps. There's a lot of research behind this where people who have actually given things specific names, specific times, specific dates, they are way more likely to get done. And again, there's more of that in my How I Stay Organized video, so you can go and check that out if you're interested. Okay, the next way I stay productive and do things is I will kind of force myself into doing things by making commitments up front, as long as I've got the time to do it. So obviously I'll check and make sure it fits in my calendar, but I won't necessarily sometimes check whether or not I have the skills to do it. So sometimes people will always like constantly wait until they feel ready to do something, whereas I will tend to step out of my comfort zone and say yes to things that I potentially don't feel ready for yet, but that encourages me to get ready because I have to. And so if I have said, yes, I will make that for you, or yes, I can do that for you, as long as I don't think it's, you know, like, oh, I can't build a space rocket, but as long as it's within my general portfolio of things that I can do, I will tend to just say, yeah, sure, and then I'll figure it out later. Another way I try and stay productive is not to multitask, and this is something I've really, really been focusing on this year, because I think I've said in a different video, I always thought that multitasking meant that I was like doing 2 things extra fast, and then I read a bunch of research, and you're basically just doing 2 things terribly. And so I realized by focusing on one activity at one time, it felt really strange. It felt like I was being really, really unproductive, but I actually started to move through activities so much quicker, and I could do so much more if I just only focus on one thing at once. So if you are a bit of a multitasker, I would really, really encourage you to try and stop. And again, this all comes back to how you're being organized. I've also installed a couple of things on my computer that have really, really helped with my productivity. One of them is called uBlock Origins, I think. So this is what it looks like. And what's amazing about uBlock is you can just like highlight blocks of a page and then decide that you want to block them and not see them. So Facebook is something that I want to keep. I like it. I live abroad. I really like the concept of the networking benefits of it. I like the Facebook marketplace. I like being able to catch up with friends and family who post things or message me on there. I really like the group chat options, but I get down rabbit holes of checking the newsfeed. And I mean, the news feeds on Facebook are just terrible these days. There's so many ads, there's so much other stuff that you don't want to see. They now have all the groups keep giving me notifications. There's game stuff on there too. So uBlock Origin has been amazing because I just like select this whole bit and I decide block, and it doesn't show me it. So sometimes when I'm feeling a little bit bored during a task, you just automatically find yourself typing in facebook.com. Then when I go on it, there's nothing there, everything's blocked. And so I just look at it and go, oh, well, that's boring. And then I click off of it. And so I haven't gone down the rabbit hole. And I've done the same thing for YouTube, because when you go onto youtube.com, it has that homepage of all those recommended videos. And obviously it knows what you like. And so it's a mix of like dogs doing dumb stuff and like conspiracy theory things to like get you mad or whatever, I don't know. But uBlock Origin just blocks all of that. And so again, when I find myself like, oh, I'm bored, youtube.com, I look at it and I go, oh, there's nothing there. And then I click off of it and I look at doing something else during that time. Sometimes I unblock it because I just want to zone out and I want to catch up with what people are doing. But then it's like a conscious, it's the weekend, I'm gonna unblock it and look at it. Something else I'm working on this year is the concept of progress and not perfection when it comes to productivity. So I'm an artist, I like being really creative, I love making things, but I can also get really, really caught up on making things perfect. And that's obviously really terrible, because then I will never like release anything or do anything, and I will spend so much time revisiting and revisiting. And then it wasn't until I started watching more videos and everyone was talking about two things. So the Parkinson's law, where tasks expand to fill the time that we give it. So I was giving things so much time to make them perfect, they would just, my tasks would continue to expand to like fill that time, and it would just never end and I'd never get them done. And then there's the, I can't remember what it's called, but the 80-20 rule, where 80% of the outcome comes from only 20% of your input. So I just started applying that to everything, and I just started being like, right, I'm only gonna do 2 drafts for this essay. I could spend another 10 weeks working on it, but I'm only gonna get a fraction of a percent more. The time trade-off just wasn't worth it. So now I'm basically just doing a few drafts and handing things in. I'm not over editing stuff, I'm trying not to overthink stuff, and I'm just working on that progression of the journey rather than those end goals of having them perfectly done. Yeah, so I don't know, let's see how that goes, but I'm liking it. I'm definitely, it's definitely been helping so far. I just kind of like repeat it to myself. It's like my mantra at the moment. All right, and the last thing I wanted to talk to you about in terms of productivity is health-related stuff, and I think this cannot be underestimated. If you're really serious about your productivity and you kind of want to take it up to the next level, I would seriously look into the health part, because productivity really comes from your ability to concentrate, your brain, how tired you are, how much energy you have. And there's definitely been a few things that I've done, not necessarily deliberately, but they've affected how productive I can be. The first one is I sleep. I sleep a lot. A lot of productivity people sometimes talk about like getting up really early, like 4 a.m., 5 a.m., getting things done. I don't. I go to bed 9:30, 10. I get up like 7:30, 8, like 9 hours. Like I need that time. If I'm not, my brain is foggy. Some people can do it. Some people can get away on not sleeping that much, but for me, I need it, and I definitely see it impact my work. Exercise, obviously, as well. Getting up and doing some type of exercise in the morning really helps. The days that I cycle to uni, I go for a run in the morning, even just like a brisk walk definitely just set the theme for the day, and then also I know that I've done it and it's out the way, and so I can really enjoy just sitting down and focusing on the task at hand. But there's a lot of research into obviously exercise and productivity. Meditation's another one, mindfulness meditation, because it's all about, you know, being aware of when you're lost in thought, and that obviously can happen a lot. And so I use the app Waking Up with Sam Harris. Just implementing that into my life in other ways. I find when I'm on a task, I'm like, oh, hold on 1 second, my mind has gone off and I'm now thinking about like puppies and whatnot. So being able to just be aware of that, catch myself, and then bring myself back to what it is that I'm doing has been really helpful. Okay, and this is the last one to do with health, and this has made the biggest impact on my ability to be productive, and I can't underestimate it. It might not be for you. It's a big lifestyle change. A lot of people in Silicon Valley are now doing it so that they can just work. It wasn't the reason I did it. I did it because of my health issues and all my autoimmune conditions, but these benefits are just wonderful, and that's the fact that I live a ketogenic diet and I do a lot of fasting. You have very, very laser focus, so I don't get distracted. I can literally just work. So sometimes I'll do big fasts when I have a really big project due, because I'm very, very happy to just sit down all day and just do it and not get distracted. When you fast and you live on a ketogenic diet as well, you're burning all your fuel from fat. If you're on a regular diet, you need to constantly just be giving yourself hits of sugar to keep your energy going throughout the day. So you're gonna be up and down like this always. It's inevitable, you can't avoid it. Whereas if you're on keto and you're fasting, I have an ample supply of fat on my body. I have probably a little bit too much at the moment. And so I don't have that. My body's just constantly burning fat throughout the day, whether I need to have lunch or I don't have lunch or I haven't had breakfast, the energy's just there. It's not something you can just suddenly do. If you suddenly start fasting or if you suddenly start doing keto, you're gonna feel really crap. It takes a long time for your body to become fat adjusted, probably like a good 6 weeks, maybe a couple of months. But if it's something you're interested in doing, you can just start doing periodic fasts throughout the year, and it will definitely make a big improvement on that. So yeah, if anyone does that and they found that's really helped, let me know. I'm really interested to hear more. But I hope those little tips helped. If you have any tips on how you stay productive or, you know, motivated or undistracted or prevent procrastination, let me know. I'd be really love to hear from you. And I hope you guys have a wicked day, and I'll chat to you later. All right, bye.